Viewer discretion is advised.
All right. You are listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where two friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents.
You darn tootin' they do.
Darn tootin'. I'm Lucy.
I'm Amanda.
Oh, we got a good one for you today. A very good, very special fan pick episode. So this episode was chosen by Grace. I don't know that they wanted me to use their last name, so we're going to leave it at Grace.
Grace M.
Grace M.
Grace
from
us.
Australia.
Oh, I was going to ask if they were from Australia, mate, because of their wine pairing.
Oh, they sure are.
Down under. Oh, no.
Actually, I chat with Grace a little bit in our next month's episode of Spooky Little Bitch.
No way.
And by next month, I mean February. So by the time this comes out, it'll be this month.
This month, yeah.
Grace, you're lovely. And Grace has chosen the very fertile fodder topic of He Had It Comin.
He had it. You know what? A lot of people had it coming.
A lot of men.
A lot of
have
men
it coming.
have it, had it, continue to have it coming.
You guys just won't stop having it come.
Yeah. Stop coming.
Ew.
Please.
Please stop coming.
For
Okay.
the love of God.
We've got some weird stories for you today. So let's get right to it. Amanda, what is our wine crime pairing for He Had It Comin?
Well, Grace wanted us to feature, I can't do an Australian accent, the Brown Brothers red wine, specifically Cienna. So we are featuring Brown Brothers Cienna Red, which they also offer a zero option, which has less sugar and very little alcohol. It's like 0.5%.
Oh, it's like
ABV.
kombucha.
Yeah, so you could get the regular Brown Brothers Cienna, or you could get the zero, which is like the much lower alcohol version. And
I don't think I've ever heard of this varietal.
it is Australian. When I click shop on their website, which is brownfamilywines.com.au, I had a hard time figuring out if it would ship to me. And it was a little bit harder I could only order it by the case. So I didn't order this. I'm just, doing my smoke thing. But if you are in that area, you can definitely get it. And if you're willing to, crush that price, get yourself a case.
Oh, what's muscadel? I'm on the website.
Yeah, muscadel is usually like more of a sweeter kind of dessert wine. Very good, though.
Oh,
Very,
so
very good. Yeah, their branding is really beautiful. And the bottles are all gorgeous. And the Cienna was specifically recommended by our fan picker, Grace. So their website says, the Brown Brothers Cienna is notorious for tasting like summer berries in a glass. It's packed with juicy, bright flavors of blueberry, raspberry, and vanilla. And you serve it chilled. It's a red, but you serve it chilled. Yeah, all of the photos of them like eating outdoors on a beautiful sunshiny day with all these fresh grilled vegetables and like dumplings are giving me palpitations. I want it so bad. I want this life.
When I was talking to Grace for Spooky Little Bitch, there were just all these like fun noises in the background. And I was like, oh, maybe she has her TV on. I was like, what's that noise? She goes, oh, I'm so sorry. My windows are open.
It was Australian
just nature.
wildlife.
Beautiful little bird song.
I know.
Oh my God.
I'm terrified of Australia, but I do want to go.
I want to go. I really want to go.
We'll have to do a show or a
I
trail
want to go
trip.
to Bondi Beach.
Oh. So this is wildly versatile to pair with everything from spicy Chinese hot pots, which I had hot pot in Minneapolis for like the first time ever a month ago. Holy shit.
Fucking yum.
It was so good. I could have rolled out of there. I was so full of broth and dumplings. Oh, it was so good. Anyway, To a mouth-watering meringue, Cienna is a vibrant and easy-drinking red wine that shines in hot Aussie summers and actually benefits from being kept cool in the fridge.
Oh.
Yeah. So just a little bit about this Brown Brothers winemaker. They've been handcrafting wine since 1889.
Oh, that's old.
In the Malawi region of the King Valley. And they say that means we've seen a lot of harvest seasons, sipped a few Chardonnays in our time, discovered some delicious new varieties, and threw a few experiments out the window too. 4 generations of winemakers later, we're still as excited by a new release sparkling or that aged 1980 Malbec. Oh my God, yum. That comes out on special occasions. While we've collected a few laurels on our bottles, we're not even tempted to rest on them. Instead, we use them to spur us forward, to push us beyond the status quo, to keep our minds sharp and our palates fresh, and to keep us making great wine for the great people of Australia and beyond. I was not that far off from today years old when I realized that resting on your laurels, that your laurels weren't like a body part. They're like a laurel is like the floral wreath you put around like a winning horse's neck in a race.
Yeah.
Like they're awards, commendations.
Oh, I guess I never really thought of it. I kind of assumed it was like your thighs.
Me too. So we all learned a little something today. So if you are able to access Brown Brothers Cienna, that is our recommended pairing this week. And cheers to all of you, no matter what you're drinking.
Yes.
Even if it's LaCroix, the limoncello LaCroix is one of my faves.
Got my big brother Stan.
Big ass Stan,
today.
your pass.
I almost sent you a picture. This morning, I was carrying June in my arm. And then in my other arm, they were both empty, but I had both of my big Stanleys. And I was holding them both by the handle. So I had 2 huge Stanleys and
like
a toddler.
Like a German waitress at a Oktoberfest.
Yes. That's
with
how
the
I
Steins.
felt. But they were empty, so I didn't feel like that powerful. Also, I would not have been able to pick them up and carry them that way if they hadn't
You're
been
still
empty.
powerful. You're still powerful.
Well, thank you.
You got the power.
Okay.
Well, I am glad you felt the power. I am glad we figured out what the fuck our laurels are. We don't have them. And let's take a quick break to hear a word from our sponsors and then dive into He Had It Comin.
He had it coming.
He had it coming all along. I didn't do it. But if I did it, how could you tell me that I was wrong? Oh, God, I was so obsessed with the Chicago soundtrack in high school.
Yes. It's really bringing me back. It's great.
It's so
a
good.
fantastic soundtrack. Okay. We'll
That's
be right
fine.
back.
Different episode. Did you know that millions of Americans grind or clench their teeth at night and most don't even know they're doing it?
I know because it's me.
Yeah. So some signs. If you have jaw pain or headaches after a night's sleep, there is a high chance that you grind or clench your teeth. And teeth grinding, also known as bruxism or TMJ, is generally caused by stress, which we have a lot of these days, and it can cause serious damage such as eroding away your enamel and broken teeth, which leads to expensive dental bills.
It's just really not pleasant to think about
not
at
great.
all.
It's not great.
It's not great, especially if it goes on for a long time. So the solution is to protect your teeth with a mouth guard, but mouth guards like from the dentist can cost you like up to $800 or more.
Woof.
Yeah. But the good news is there's Remy. Remy makes dental grade professional quality mouth guards without that painful price tag that is also awful to think about.
Also gives me a headache.
Yep. They're up to 80% cheaper than what you pay at the dentist, and they do not require you to visit a dental office.
Love
so you just go online to their website. They send you an at-home impression kit to take molds of your teeth that are just like custom to you, fit you perfectly. You send those back to Remy, and then their dental team will make you a custom fit guard or set of guards and send them back to you right away. Remy's guards are so comfortable to wear that most customers forget they're even wearing them. I have some.
Yeah.
I love it.
You sleep great.
You sleep great. Can't even tell they're there. Plus, with a 45-night satisfaction guarantee, you can try it risk-free. You can sleep better, and you can decide if it's the perfect fit for you. And if it's not, Remy's got you covered. I very much encourage you to do this, especially if you wake up with that sore jaw. It's not something that you can really like fix on your own because you do it while you're sleeping, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if you've ever thought before about like protecting your teeth from yourself at night, you got to check out Remy.
Mm-hmm. Remy is for anyone dealing with nighttime grinding, clenching, or jaw pain who wants an affordable solution to protect their smile and say goodnight to jaw pain and headaches. Head to shopremy.com/gals and use code GALS to save up to 50%. That's 50% off at shopremi.com/gals with code GALS. Give your teeth a break without breaking the bank with Remy. And thank you, Remy, for sponsoring this episode.
Who doesn't love the good things in life? And, you know, we all enjoy a little luxury, but that does not mean that you can always afford it.
Nope.
Good thing there's Quince.
Mm-hmm.
Quince is the place to go for like the nicest like wardrobe staples you're ever gonna find. Quince is definitely my go-to for luxury essentials at an incredibly affordable price.
Seriously, Quince offers a big ol' range of high-quality items at prices within reach, like 100% Mongolian cashmere sweaters from $50, washable silk tops and dresses, organic cotton sweaters, 14-karat gold jewelry. I literally live in my little gold like paperclip necklace that I got from Quince.
It's so cute. Their bags.
It's so cute. Oh, stop. They have so much. They have so much great stuff. And the best part, all Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. And they can do this by partnering directly with top factories, and Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings right on to us. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes, which I love. I live in my like cable knit Quince sweater. And I am very excited because I know it's February, but spring is coming. And that means I am going to pick up a couple more Quince items for my spring and summer wardrobe. I am super excited to get back into my romper, my striped navy and white romper that I got from them.
So cute.
It's so cute. It travels really well. I'm obsessed with it.
Give yourself the luxury you deserve with Quince. Go to quince.com/wine for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/wine to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/wine.
Today's episode is brought to you by Ollie, clean, fresh nutrition for your dog. In 5 flavors, they'll absolutely flip over. You don't have to be a veterinary nutritionist to know that feeding your dog real whole foods with minimal processing is one of the best choices that you can make for their health. A perfectly portioned, whole, fresh food diet has been proven to extend your pup's life by 2.5 years. Who doesn't want more time with their dog? I really wish I had this when I had my sweet Callie because she would have gone absolutely ape for it.
Oh, she would have.
She would have loved it. There are absolutely no harmful fillers, no preservatives. Ollie is made in U.S. kitchens with ingredients carefully sourced from trusted growers and producers around the world. Because the time between Ollie's gentle cooking and your dog chowing down is minimal, they don't need preservatives to extend shelf life. It's essentially having like a private chef deliver food to your door for your dog.
I would feed this to my child.
Seriously. With 5 protein-first recipes like fresh beef with sweet potatoes, fresh turkey with blueberries, or fresh lamb with cranberries, you might start thinking, dang, my dog eats better than I do. And that's probably true when it comes to Ollie. I do know a couple people, including my mom, who used to cook for her dog. God rest that dog's soul, because it had like a lot of sensitive stomach. And like this would have been such a game changer. I wish we had known.
Absolutely. And it's so incredibly easy to get started. So you just fill out Ollie's 30-second quiz and they'll create a customized meal plan based on your pup's weight, activity level, and other health info. So cute.
So cute.
Then Ollie crunches the numbers and recommends the right recipes and daily portions for your little pup based on hundreds of thousands of real dog results. For any first-timers, Ollie will send out your first box with 2 weeks worth of meals and a guide of how to like gradually switch them over to their new diet.
Love that.
Because that's important.
Yeah.
They consider absolutely everything when it comes to your dog's health, which is so good. Ollie offers 3 meal plans to choose from, so you can choose between a full fresh plan, fresh topper plan, or a mixed plan with their freshly baked recipes for your fur baby. They also have treats and supplements, so explore the whole website. It's incredible how much stuff they have for your dog.
They really do. And we know you love your pets. We love our pets. This is such an amazing way to nourish them and show them you love them. Give your pup a fresh start this year by letting them taste test a personalized meal plan with Ollie. Head to ollie.com/gals, tell them about your dog, and use code GALS to get 60% off your first box of meals when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a clean bowl guarantee on the first box. So if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's OLLIE.com/gals and enter code GALS to get 60% off your first box. Start your dog's new year off right with Ollie. Lucy, what is our background? Maybe psych, maybe a little case. I don't know what you have in store for us for He Had It Comin.
Well, as we know, as we have railed about on this show.
Never meet a man.
For years. Men have been unhinged for like at least a couple thousand years.
Mm-hmm.
Since their invention, they've been a fucking menace.
Since the inception of men.
Specifically. Building systemic structures to ensure that society is shaped by them, while women have been treated like second-class citizens. Of course, this is still happening.
Mm-hmm.
In 2022, the gender pay gap here in the good old U.S. had women earning 82 cents for every dollar a man earned. Women couldn't vote till the 19th Amendment that was passed in 1920, and that did not include Black women, Indigenous people, immigrants, poor people, or folks who couldn't read.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if there's one main like through line that we talk about on every single show, it's like this kind of information.
Mm-hmm.
Frankly, at this point in our political culture, I don't have the energy to go down that path of research today.
Well, and there's so much research out there, and all we can do is encourage you to seek it.
Yes. So instead of like stats, data analysis, I instead opted to tell you a few tales of dudes who absolutely had it coming.
I love it. I went down a slightly different path too, because, and we'll get to it at the top of my case, but He Had It Comin sent me like what popped up for me was cases of like justifiable homicide.
Oh yeah.
So that's the path that I went down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Self-defense.
I think all of these are cases of justifiable
1,000%.
homicide. Okay, so my first little shallow dive for us. The year is 1995. The world had not yet turned into a shit show, so the future still felt fairly like non-apocalyptic.
Terry Schiavo is still with us.
Terry Schiavo is still with us.
I'm still reeling. Obviously, this has been out since this was recorded, but we put a drunk dive on Uncorked for January, and Lucy covered in incredible detail the landmark case, I guess, story of Terry Schiavo, and I was
disturbed by it.
I had a visceral emotional reaction that changed every 2 seconds. So if you're not on Uncorked, I highly recommend subscribing so you can hear that, because
you had a range of emotions.
I lost my mind so many fucking times. So many fucking times.
Bet you wish you had PVS.
Ugh, no.
No, not enviable.
No.
Okay. So 2 friends. We got Wanda Toms and we have Mary Ann Stewart.
Okay.
They were just graduating from Doris Place High School in Sweetwater, Tennessee. By all accounts, they were just 2 best friends. They snuck cigarettes behind the school together. They were young. They were pretty. They wore crop tops. They had like fun hair. They were the cool girls.
It's giving Goodbye Earl by the Chicks.
Mm-hmm. So they both participated in their rabbit breeding programs at their 4-H club. They were quite outdoorsy.
I love a 4-H bitch.
Mm-hmm. So they graduate. Marianne leaves their small town to chase her dreams in Atlanta, where she got an internship for a state senator. Damn. Wanda stayed back home. She had like ailing parents. She had to kind of look after them. She wasn't ready to leave her community.
Mm-hmm.
In 1997, Wanda marries a real piece of shit.
Earl.
Like, he's very physically abusive to her right away. Mm-hmm. He was also reportedly a big drinker. That did not help the situation. So in what is tragically a non-unique story, Wanda begins to hide her injuries by wearing like makeup on her body.
And dark glasses. I can't stop hearing it.
Long sleeves, even in the hot Tennessee summer, etc. She didn't want her coworkers to see it. She didn't want people at church talking. So she very much kept it to herself. But after a few years of this bullshit, she decides she's finally had enough. And she serves her POS husband with divorce papers. And as we know, this is always a very scary time when someone's trying to leave their abuser. So she also had a restraining order put into place.
Good for her.
She also requested for the police to like do checks on her, like, you know, just drive by the house, park on the street periodically, that kind of thing. But there's no evidence that that took place. So, of course, what happens next is tragically predictable. Her husband ignores the restraining order and proceeds to injure her so badly that she is hospitalized for nearly a week.
Oh, God.
So keep in mind, this is only 5 years after they graduated high school, and the two women are still extremely close despite the long distances.
She's so
Marianne,
young.
21.
Yeah.
Here's what happened and immediately flew back to Tennessee, goes straight to the hospital to be with Wanda. And this is where things pick up a little bit because Marianne is big mad. Soon after Wanda is released from the hospital, she goes home where her fucking abuser is. Marianne is staying at her parents' house, so she's still in town. She's keeping tabs on the domestic situation, but she's not like
In the house.
staying with them or
No,
anything.
she's just close by.
So what happens. Eventually, the cops kind of put two and two together and they're like, oh shit, that dude violated his restraining order.
You don't say.
Better go pick him up. So they go to the address that they have on file. Wanda says that he's not there and actually hasn't seen him for quite a few days. But because they also have this information that he was served with divorce papers, everyone just kind of agreed that he moved out, he left, she was better off, everything is now fine. So the cops
they were
like,
splitting up. He fucked off. They don't have kids.
they don't have kids.
He just left.
Yep. So his boss actually reported him missing after he missed a full week of work and like no one could get a hold of him. So at this point, he's technically a missing person. But again, he was just a real fucking prick.
Yeah. So people weren't really looking for him because they just assumed he had just fucked off.
He was just a piece of shit. He like didn't have any friends. No one liked him. He was replaced at work very easily. The world moved on.
They're like, oh, he didn't show up. Oh, no. Next.
Yep. Like, I'm kind of shocked that the boss even reported him missing.
Right.
So in what I can only describe as a beautiful expression of the power of womanhood and friendship, the two gals buy some property together and they open up a little meat and produce co-op in the country.
Oh, my God. I love them.
8 years after he disappeared, some young girls were out fishing in a nearby lake when they snagged what they thought was just a boot. It turned out to have most of a human foot inside.
Yeah.
So they called the police, and divers recovered the body of Earl Lee Mason Jr.
I think the song is literally based on this case.
The autopsy showed crazy high levels of thallium, because the only thing in his stomach appeared to be black-eyed peas.
You
Investigators
bitch. You
believed
bitch.
that Earl had been poisoned by his wife and
I
her
thought
friend.
this was real, you bitch.
Then they put him in a trunk, wrapped him in a tarp, and dumped him in a lake. Fortunately for Marianne and Wanda, the entire police force and the medical examiner were all women, and they conveniently forgot to press charges. It seemed like everyone agreed that Earl had to die.
Okay, clarify for me. Is any of this based on a true... It's all made up. You did this. Okay.
He had it coming.
Okay. Well, if I'm not getting duped by AI, I'm getting duped by my own alleged friend.
To be fair, that was Ben's idea.
God damn it, Ben. He's also my alleged friend.
Yeah.
Well, guess who else had it coming? Ben.
I tried to add like really misleading specific facts.
Yeah, I kept being like, wait. Was that song based on a true story? My mind was about to be fucking blown.
No, but apparently when that song came out in 1999, there were some radio stations that didn't want to play the song because they had viewers that were upset about it. And
how dare you glorify killing your abuser? Oh, no. How awful.
You know, all of those listeners were men.
I'm sure.
But yeah, it was such a popular song and it's so catchy and like, it's like the best karaoke song. But it's about horrific domestic violence and then like retribution. Yeah. So thanks, Ben. We tricked her. Okay. My other two stories are real.
Are they? Now I can't believe anything you say. The trust is gone.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It'll be back. I have a very short memory.
Okay, Dory.
Exactly. I am exactly the kind of person you want to be in a minimal fight with because I'll probably forget what the fuck we were even talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll get over it. I won't remember it.
Perfect. Okay, so this next story is going to take a sharp turn from our last section. Very much extrajudicious community action. So brace yourself for some heavy statistics revolving around the country of India and the prevalent sexual violence and assault of women that happens there. So these stats are all pulled from Reuters. In 2012, so this was 13 years ago, the number of rapes reported in India was a staggering 25,000, over 25,000. Since then, reported rapes have stayed above 30,000 annually, except for like a sharp drop during the pandemic because like nobody was participating in life. In 2018 alone, on average, one woman was raped every 15 minutes.
Good God.
And this is even in the face of increased penalties. There is a 10-year minimum sentence, which can be extended to life in prison, or even the death penalty if the victim is under 12 years old. And I read a stat that roughly 10% of rapes are committed, or the victims are under the age of 18.
Yeah, they're children.
They also widened the definition of rape to include non-penetrative acts, and they lowered the age that people can be tried as an adult to 16 years old.
Wow.
Convictions for rape averaged, I was fairly impressed with this, between 27 and 28%. Like convictions.
Yeah, by American standards, that's pretty high for cases like this.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it can be done. We can do better than like the fucking 8% or whatever it is. In the face of this overwhelming data, women have begun to take matters into their own hands, and I cannot express how happy this makes me and also how sad it is that they even have to do this.
Yeah.
So there's a large women-only group called the Gulabi Gang. Have you heard of them?
No.
So they have made it their mission to stand in the way of the rampant and systemic violence against women in their region of Uttar Pradesh. So the word Gulabi is Hindi for pink. They all wear like bright pink saris. That's kind of how they like know each other. And then when they're in groups, they're all just wearing fucking hot pink. It's so cool. So this region of India, the Uttar Pradesh, is incredibly impoverished. And according to an article from The Guardian, it is known as a place where people still like regularly starve to death. There is widespread corruption and huge disparity in the distribution of resources. So this group was started in 2006 by Sampat Pal Devi. She would travel from village to village singing protest songs to recruit what she calls her army.
Oh.
Like I said, they wear bright pink saris and they are trained to use a lathi, which is a weapon that's common in rural India. It's just made from wood. It's essentially like a long stick. But I'm guessing that you can use it as a walking stick. You can use it as a weapon. You can use it to whack cops who don't protect the women that they're supposed to be.
So much
serving.
versatility.
Very versatile. Very versatile. In 2014, the group had a whopping 270,000 members.
Wow.
So for perspective, that's the entire population of Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
So a lot.
Wow.
She began this journey when she tried to intervene on behalf of a woman being attacked, and she was subsequently attacked herself. The fear. The 2021 crimes record in India shows that the majority of crimes committed against women were that of kidnappings, rapes, domestic violence, and dowry deaths. So, as you know, a dowry is supposed to be given from the bride's family to the groom's family.
Yep.
But it has to be agreed upon. So, like, if there's a dispute, then often the new bride will either be killed by her husband's family, or from what I read, driven to suicide. So,
God.
Fucking awful. Okay. So rape is the fourth most common violent crime against women in India. But just in general, that's just general femicide, you know. When a woman is assisted by the Gulabi Gang, they are expected to join the fight and protect other women. So if they save you,
pay it forward.
Join their group, do what they do. So
Which
while the media
volumes about the numbers.
Yep. Yeah. While the media tends to focus on violent interventions by this group, the use of their lathi, their stick weapons, is a last resort. So the first thing they do when intervening in a domestic violence case is that they will first go to the police. If and when the corrupt male cops don't fucking do anything, that's when they begin to kick ass.
Yeah.
Quote, the targets of the Gulabi Gang's vigilantism are corrupt officials and violent husbands. Both. The gang has stopped child marriages, forced police officers to register cases of domestic violence by slapping them.
Yes.
And they've even gotten roads built by dragging the official responsible from his desk onto the dust track in question.
Hell yeah.
I just imagine they grabbed him by the ear, pulled him outside, down
fucking
the road.
Do something. Finish
see this. Not okay. This is your fucking job. Get to work.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm obsessed.
I love it. They also conduct occupations of government buildings. In a 2008 article, the group occupied a power station that had been turned off by the owner in order to extract bribes from the local citizens
that were served by that power station, so they could pay to get their fucking power back on.
You want your power back on? Sounds like that's going to cost you $200. Like, yeah. So the Gulabi Gang stormed into the station, kicked out the men that were inside, took the keys to the place, locked them out, and then they left. And it only took an hour for the power to be restored.
Women get shit done.
Yeah, and men are just fucking stupid. So, yeah. This group is amazing, how they handle things, how they stand up with courage in a society where the rule of law is unevenly applied and systemic misogyny is rampant.
Take notes.
Gulabi. Okay, here's my last little shallow dive and also my fucking favorite ever.
Okay.
So, we're in Soviet Russia. Sure fucking feels like it. Stalin is in power. It's World War II, and of course, women are barred from being in combat roles within the Russian armed forces. Meanwhile, the Soviet forces are being relentlessly pressured by the Nazi forces. Things are not looking good. The Nazis are moving in.
Closing in, yep.
They're closing in. Ignoring a non-aggression pact between Hitler and Stalin, on June 22nd, 1941, Nazi Germany launched Operation Barbarossa, which was an invasion of the Soviet Union. The Soviet Air Force was caught on the ground and nearly annihilated. They were not doing great.
They weren't prepared.
By November, so that was in June, late June. By November, 3 million Russians have been taken prisoner, and the German army is like less than 20 miles from Moscow.
Damn.
They're coming. Marina Raskova enters the chat. She's basically like a Russian Amelia Earhart. She's highly skilled. She's in a position of influence. I think she had some money. And she was Also in a position to be able to bend the ear of a certain Mr. Joseph Stalin.
Okay, so she's in a pretty powerful spot.
Yep. So she convinces him that women need to be involved in this fight. And obviously she was right. But she was like, it's too late to do anything else. And it's also important to note regarding aviation in Russia at this time, before the war had even started, women were encouraged to be every bit as capable as men in all roles of like the military, whether it was like a deckhand or a full pilot.
Okay.
There are kind of a lot of like confusingly, I wouldn't say outright like feminist, but like egalitarian customs in the Soviet Union back then. I don't know. Every time I hear something like that, it just like catches me off guard for obvious reasons.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, a lot of it was also like a numbers game. We need the bodies.
Labor.
People were dying every day. And there were able-bodied women who some probably wanted to contribute. Some maybe didn't, but you know, that those were the cards they were dealt.
In their society, then it wasn't considered quote unquote healthy to openly discriminate. So, okay. So what does this mean? It means that in 1940, 1/3 of all trained pilots in the Soviet Union were women.
Wild.
So, of course, she's like, this kind of makes sense.
Yep.
You're ignoring 33% of your force, and we're getting squashed. So Stalin approves, and on October 8th, 1941, an order was issued to deploy 3 women's Air Force units, including the 588th Regiment. The regiment, which was formed by Raskova and led by Major Yevdokia Bershanskaya,
Nailed it.
was composed primarily of female volunteers in their late teens and early 20s.
Damn, so young.
These were bad ass bitches. Another source says that when Raskova put out the call for volunteers to join, she received thousands of applications. And these weren't just for pilots, but also for support roles like mechanics. They were going to fill all the, I mean, they were completely skilled for all of this.
Yeah, they knew their
trained
shit.
for it. They were the first women military pilots to directly engage the enemy in combat. And
wow.
Okay, these are from like little sections from the Wright Museum. And I don't know why they just seem so cheeky. I love them. Okay. Quote, because the Soviet Air Force had no females up until then, the women were given old men's uniforms. Not old men's uniforms.
No.
Old.
Yeah.
Men's
Vintage,
uniforms
secondhand.
that were old. These clothes were often too large and baggy, and the boots were sometimes so oversized that the women tore up their bedding and stuffed it into their boots to make them fit better. Some also cut their hair short to appear like men, but they also painted flowers on their planes and used navigation pencils to color their lips to add a feminine touch to the war.
I love that.
Officially, the women were treated just like their male counterparts, except they were given more soap.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Let's be honest. They asked for soap more frequently and were given the soap they asked for. And it just happened to be more than the men asked for. I guarantee it.
They were each given 600 tampons a month.
500 tampons. And then asked, would that be enough?
Is that a song?
That's this viral song that this woman wrote after NASA sent a woman into space and asked how many tampons she would need.
Sally Ride?
Yeah.
Is that enough?
I don't know.
Oh my God. I didn't know it was a song.
I mean, it was like a TikTok video. She like went viral on the internet for making this song. It's like a pretty recent thing from the last couple of years.
Okay. I'll look at it.
I'll find it and send it to you.
Perfect. So again, it feels weird to like root for the Soviets, but I always forget that they were our allies in World War II.
Right.
Technically. Okay, so of course there are not enough planes for all of these women. So the women were relegated to using the Polikarpov PO2 biplanes that were primarily used as crop dusters.
Oh, wow.
So this is again from the Wright Museum. The plane was like a death trap waiting to spring. Some women likened the rickety PO2 to a coffin with wings.
Oh, God.
Because the plane was made of plywood with canvas stretched over it.
Well, yeah, I mean, these crop dusting planes are meant to not even get that high off the ground.
Uh-huh.
So that, like, if and oftentimes when they would crash, it wasn't such a dire situation. They're being used in a completely different way. That would be terrifying.
Mm-hmm. During World War II against these, like, German, like, bombers and stuff.
That's scary.
If a tracer bullet struck the plane, it could easily burst into flames. The plane's top speed was 90 miles an hour, and it could only carry 2 bombs, one under each wing.
Wow.
The weight of the bombs plus the crew forced the plane to travel low, which allowed it to be spotted very easily by the enemy. Because of those handicaps, the planes could only fly at night under the cover of darkness.
Wow.
So this is where it gets super fucking cool. These women learned to use the plane's disadvantages to their benefit. So a little bit technical here. I'm going to tell you about how their attacks worked without super explaining the like aeronautical mechanics of
I will
combat
make sure
flight.
not to ask a single clarifying question. You got this.
Perfect. Okay. So the plane flies too low and can easily be spotted. So again, they can only fly at night. The plane was also exceptionally maneuverable because it was so slow. So its maximum speed was slow enough that it was slower than the stalling speed. Again, it's okay. It's technical. It's essentially talking about the angle of attack for air combat. So it was slower than the stalling speed of the German fighter planes, which actually made them harder to shoot down.
Yeah, because the German fighting planes are like too fast to stay locked onto them.
Yup.
They're like literally flying under the radar.
Yeah, and that's even if they are seen.
Right.
So what they would do is that they would cut their engines and glide to their bombing target.
And then they'd be real quiet coming in.
So the only noise was like the wind from like the actual wind hit on the airplane.
Uh-huh.
Nazi soldiers likened the sound to witches' broomsticks.
Hell yeah.
And that is how they earned the title the Night Witches.
Stop.
That's what they were called. The fucking Night Witches.
Incredible.
So here's a couple really cool facts about this group. Through the course of the war, this regiment flew in 23,672 sorties. And a sortie is an attack from a position of defense.
Wow. So they ran a lot of these attack drills, basically. Not drills,
Yeah.
but like actual attacks.
Over 23,000.
That's nuts.
They dropped over 3,000 tons of bombs.
Holy shit.
And keep in mind, each plane could only carry 2 bombs.
Yeah.
They also dropped a whopping 26,000 incendiary shells, quote, damaging or completely destroying 17 river crossings, 9 railways, 2 railway stations, 26 warehouses, 12 fuel depots, 176 armored cars, 86 firing points, and 11 searchlights.
Fuck. They did work.
And they did all of that without parachutes.
No.
They also had no modern instruments with these fucking planes, so they used paper maps, flashlights, and pencils to navigate and like find their targets and complete their missions.
Do you know what the...
And put on lipstick with
Yeah.
their pencils.
Do you know what the survival rate was for these women?
So during the entirety of World War II, only 32 members of the Night Witches died in combat. So that was either in combat or from plane crashes or from tuberculosis.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a pretty solid number, like low number of deaths.
Marina Ruskova, the one who kind of like started it, was killed in a plane crash near Stalingrad in 1943. But goddamn,
Yeah.
she did some work.
Seriously. Wow.
One woman, Irina Sabrova, flew 1,008 sorties, so again, those missions during the course of the war, which was more than any other woman.
Holy shit. She's
And then-
living in that plane.
She was. Nadezhda Popova, one of the most famous night witches, once returned from a sortie with 42 bullet holes in her plane, as well as in her helmet and her paper map.
But she survived.
She got home.
Holy shit.
Another pilot lost the bottom of her plane to enemy fire, but kept flying.
Stop.
So I don't know how she was like hanging on.
I mean, make those crop dusters work for you.
Uh-huh. So the one who had it coming in this instance was Hitler.
Right.
Because one article described that many historians credit these women for turning the tide of the war on the Eastern Front. So,
I mean, it just goes to show you that against a huge, oppressive power, the skills of underestimated people can come in very much in handy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
that's the story of the Soviet night witches.
Holy shit. That's fascinating. I did not know about that.
I didn't either.
I liked your little shallow dives, and I have forgiven you for
Thanks.
tricking me.
I'm glad you remembered.
Well, I almost forgot. Should we
Hey.
take a quick break and then dive into my case?
I would love that.
Let's do it.
One of the smartest apps you can have on your smartphone in 2025 is Upside. Upside gives you the power to earn more on the stuff you're already buying all the time. Whether you're filling up your tank, going out to eat, shopping for groceries, whatever it may be, the Upside app lets you earn cash back on every purchase. Upside users are making as much as $280 a year.
I love this app so much. The app is free. The free Upside app gets you cash back on daily essentials like gas, groceries, and dining. This app is so easy to use. To get started, you download the free Upside app, use our promo code GALS, and get an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas. Next, claim an offer for whatever you're buying on Upside. Then, pay as usual with a credit or debit card, follow the steps in the app, and get paid, baby. There are over 100,000 gas stations, grocery stores, and restaurants on the Upside app, ensuring that cashback is always just around the corner. I love that there is a map option on the app, so I can be like, oh, I'm in this town that I'm not usually in. Where's the closest Upside partnered gas station? Like, where should I go grab some food today? Like, it really helps me like plan out my whole day of errands. You can earn an average of 8% on restaurant and grocery purchases. And the best part, you can even stack your Upside cashback on top of your credit and debit card rewards. Upside users are earning hundreds of dollars a year. That's probably why they have a 4.8 star rating on the App Store. Like, it's good.
Download the free Upside app and use promo code GALS to get an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas. That's an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas using promo code GALS.
February is the month of love, cozy nights in, new beginnings. And this February, give yourself the gift of glowing skin with the iRestore Illumina face mask. This is not just any face mask, okay? It's a game changer with 360 medical grade LEDs, double the power of most other brands. Red, infrared, and blue light work together to tackle wrinkles, acne, and inflammation all at once, giving your skin a fresh start for the new year. It's the skincare boost you actually deserve. And with the iRestore Illumina face mask, self-care is as easy as it gets. There's no complicated skincare routines, just results. For a limited time, our listeners can save $205 off the iRestore face mask with code GALS25 at iRestoreLaser.com.
This face mask is so freaking cool. This is like my me time after June goes to bed. I'll put this crazy looking futuristic mask on and like know that it's like helping my skin.
I like to wear it when I'm vacuuming because then I look like a full robot with like a robot arm and a robot face.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it only takes like 10-minute sessions 3 to 5 times a week for you to start seeing brighter skin. And iRestore is so confident in their products, they offer a 12-month money-back guarantee, so you can get it for yourself or you can gift it risk-free. So if you're not going to keep it for yourself, which I highly recommend,
This makes an incredible gift. So give your skin the love it deserves this February. For a limited time only, our listeners get $205 off their Illumina face mask with code GALS25 at irestorelaser.com. That's $205 off the Illumina face mask with code GALS25 at irestorelaser.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Unlock your best skin with iRestore.
I struggle so much with mornings. Not only my energy levels are super low in the morning, I'm not a morning person, but I also have a hard time like eating right away in the morning. So
Same.
reaching for something like mud water that can nourish me and give me some energy right away in the morning without having to like cook for myself is such a game changer. Mud water is this warm, nourishing drink packed with cacao, chai, turmeric, and adaptogenic mushrooms that will keep you cozy all winter long. It helps you stay focused without that crash or feeling like you're running on empty, similar to that usual coffee buzz. Not a fan. Mud water is smooth, steady, and the perfect way to give yourself a clean, calm energy boost without the roller coaster. And if you are like me and you are a matcha lover, I am obsessed with Mudwater's matcha starter kit. This is a must try. It's the perfect way to step into clean energy with matcha's calming, focused boost. One sip and you'll feel like you're dancing barefoot in the grass. Seriously, it's that good. Try it today and save big. Our listeners get up to 43% off your entire order, free shipping, and a free rechargeable frother.
Love the frother.
Oh my God, it's worth it even just for that. That thing is so great. Head to mudwtr.com and use the code GALS at checkout. And now Mudwater is available at Target and Sprouts locations across the United States. So it's never been easier to grab a cup of this winter-friendly pick-me-up.
Mudwater also offers caffeine-free blends.
Love that.
They've got, and you can also like add creamer, add honey. You could add your CBD to it. You could ice it down.
You can dance it up.
Dance it up, ice it down, do whatever. They're ready for anything. So are you ready to make the switch to cleaner energy? Head to mudwater.com and grab your starter kit today. Right now, our listeners get an exclusive deal up to 43% off your entire order plus free shipping and a free rechargeable frother when you use code GALS. That's right, up to 43% off with code GALS at mudwtr.com. After you purchase, they'll ask how you found them. Please show your support and let them know we sent you. Keep your energy natural and refreshing all year long with Mudwater, because life's too short for anything less than clean, delicious energy.
Okay. So, like I said at the top, when looking for a case to cover today, I went through justifiable homicide, self-defense cases, and I found one that really struck me. And it is a famous case, like a historical case, but we sure as shit didn't learn about it in school, and I knew very little about this. Like, I recognized the name, but knew so little about it and thought maybe other people like me had not heard much about this, and there's a lot to learn from this. So
I'm ready to learn.
Yeah. Okay. It's also fucking devastating. So buckle up.
Okay.
So Dr. Ossian Sweet was an African-American physician whose determination to secure a home for his family in 1920s Detroit led to a landmark legal battle. And this case that we're talking about today not only highlighted the pervasive racial tensions of the era, but also became a significant moment in the fight for civil rights in America. And we, like I said, sure as shit didn't learn about this one in school. So we're going to learn about it together now.
Okay.
So Ossian Sweet was born on October 30th, 1895 in Bartow, Florida, or Bartow, I don't know how that's pronounced, to tenant farmers. Recognizing the limited Scorpio. Recognizing the limited opportunities in the segregated South, his parents sent him north for his education. So he attended Wilberforce University in Ohio to get his Bachelor of Science degree. And then he went to Howard University in Washington, D.C. and got his medical degree. He became a doctor. As far as I know, he was like a family practitioner. He'd be like a PCP, like a primary care doctor.
Okay.
In 1921, after completing his medical studies, Dr. Sweet moved to Detroit, a city experiencing rapid growth due to the booming automotive industry. He established a medical practice within the Palace Drug Company. So my understanding is that Palace Drug was like a pharmacy. And
like Walgreens.
Yep. And he had offices in the back where he could provide care to the community, which was becoming more and more diverse every day. And there's a lot of history with Detroit, with like the Great Migration, and as well as a lot of other cities, specifically in the North. But just because the North didn't legalize slavery does not mean that there was not and does not continue to be racism,
exploitation, and bigotry.
So there was still heavy segregation and some serious racial tension, aka white violence against their new black neighbors.
Okay.
The city became home to many black families seeking better opportunities, leading to significant demographic shifts and intensified racial tensions, especially as black families began moving into predominantly white neighborhoods, because there weren't a lot of like established necessarily black neighborhoods. That's kind of the whole point of the Great Migration, is that people were moving out of the South, specifically black families, to seek opportunities in the North. And like, where the fuck are they going to live? All these people in the North are predominantly white. And then the white folks are pissed that they're moving into, quote unquote, their neighborhoods. Determined
Classic.
A tale as old as fucking time. Determined to provide a better life for his family. So his wife's name was Gladys, and then they had a young daughter. Dr. Sweet purchased a house at 2905 Garland Avenue in an all-white neighborhood in June of 1925. Aware of the potential backlash, he prepared for possible hostility by enlisting the support of friends and family to stay with them like the day they moved in, and also armed himself for protection. And before anyone listening has any misconception about why he would be compelled to do this, this is a perfectly reasonable response to what had already been an incredibly violent summer for black homebuyers and renters in the area. Several black families had already been targeted by white mobs with numbers in the thousands who would gather in front of their homes, harass these families, threaten to kill them, throw rocks at their homes, break the windows, taunt them with racial slurs. Thousands. And they'd stay out there for days with the intent to drive them out of their homes. They would offer to buy the home back from these families. And black families who stood their ground and fought back against the violence and protected their property and their bodies were often arrested, while the white mobs were just sent on their way untouched. And several of these black families did indeed sell their homes and leave because they feared for their lives. Their neighbors are threatening to kill them.
Brave enough to stay if those were the conditions.
It's unimaginable. And also like, where do you go? You're met with this kind of violent backlash basically everywhere you land. So by September of 1925, so he like closed on the house in the summer and then moved in the fall, is my understanding. So it's September of 1925. We've had this particularly horrific summer of white violence. Tensions in Detroit are at a fucking breaking point. The city's black population had grown significantly due to the Great Migration, and white residents were increasingly hostile toward black families moving into their neighborhoods. Dr. Ossian Sweet's decision to buy a home at 2905 Garland Avenue in an all-white neighborhood was seen as, quote, an act of defiance by his white neighbors. Like, haven't we made it clear we don't...
How dare you?
How dare you?
Wow.
The Sweet family moved into their home on September 8th, 1925, fully aware of the attitudes of their white neighbors. So again, that's why he was like, I'm having my family, my brothers, my friends come stay with me. And like, we have guns. We have ways to protect ourselves because we've seen mobs in the thousands descend on other members of our community just for buying a house here. He said, quote, he reportedly said to his brother about the decision, quote, I have to die like a man or live a coward.
Ooh.
Just months earlier, in May of 1925, another black family had been violently driven out of a white neighborhood in Detroit after their house was firebombed.
Oh, my God.
So the couple, like the Sweet family, knew that their presence would likely provoke a similar reaction, and they were taking precautions to protect themselves. Dr. Sweet.
How has no one died yet, I guess I should say?
Well, certainly in that violent summer, people did die. Black people were, in some cases, literally killed. And someone does die in this incident. Okay. But we will get to it.
Just the firebombing and the mob of thousands.
Yeah,
and
I mean, it's both amazing how many people survived these acts of violence, and questionable because, as we know, the justice system, record keeping, the way these stories were reported on at the time were heavily biased and racist. And so we may not know exactly how many of these families suffered death at the hands of these mobs, because the mobs were essentially forgiven in some cases, and we don't necessarily have like perfect, accurate, equitable reporting on the events of that summer. But it was a violent fucking time.
That is important to remember, especially like in times like these. The way that we tell stories is the way that people 100 years from now,
will be.
That's how they're gonna see it.
So Dr. Sweet asked his younger brothers Henry and Otis and several close friends to stay in the house with them. They brought firearms for protection, fearing they might have to defend themselves, and they were right to fear this. So this is the first fucking night that this family is sleeping in their home. The first night in their home, a crowd of white residents gathered outside. Although there was shouting, no physical violence erupted that first night. However, the next day, tensions escalated dramatically. By the evening of September 9th, a crowd estimated between 500 and 1,000 white people from the community, neighbors, locals, had assembled outside the Sweet family home. They were shouting racist threats, demanding that the Sweets leave the neighborhood. Many of the white residents in the crowd belonged to neighborhood improvement associations, which are their mission was quite literally to keep black people out of the neighborhood. They were actively working to keep black families out of white areas. These were like city sanctioned organizations.
Yeah, that was their mission statement.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, it was not a secret. It's like, we want to have cute flowers on the boulevard, and also our top agenda item is not letting black people buy homes in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
According to later court testimonies, white men in the mob began throwing rocks and stones at the house, shattering windows and pelting the walls. Dr. Sweet and his family and friends inside feared that the mob would soon break down the doors and lynch them because of the violent threats that the mob was screaming, threatening their lives. Like this is up to 1,000 people are outside your door, breaking your windows, screaming that they're gonna kill you, and you're inside with your young daughter and your family. And they'd closed the blinds. They had not spoken to any of their fucking neighbors. They just moved in. That's it. That's all they did.
It has to be so fucking traumatic.
It would be, I mean, we'll get to the aftermath of the trauma, unfortunately. Dr. Sweet later recounted in court, quote, "I knew that these people were going to try to destroy my property. I knew that they were probably going to take my life and the lives of those who were with me. I wasn't at all certain that I could protect myself, but I was certain of one thing. I was not going to run away. I had a right to defend myself, and I was going to defend myself." Fucking period, full stop. At some point during the attack, gunshots were fired from inside the house from like an upper window. It's unclear who fired the first shot, but witnesses reported hearing, quote, several shots ring out. 2 white men in the crowd were hit. Leon Briner was shot and killed, and Ernest McGinnis was wounded but survived. And like Lucy said about the Nazis, to clarify, these are the he's who had it fucking coming.
These are the he's.
I shed no tears for these fuckers who died / got wounded, or any of the other fuckers that were complicit in that mob. Not a one, because it's their fucking fault that this happened.
Yeah.
Immediately after the shooting, police stormed the house because police were also like
part of the mob.
Yes, the call is fucking always coming from inside the house, but like they're there, quote unquote, monitoring the situation because it's escalating. But of course, it isn't until they're not stopping this white mob from essentially trying to break the door down. This mob of people is trying to break down the door to your house. Like, you better fucking believe I'm shooting out the window. I'm not gonna let you just come in here and drag me out and kill me. Like,
with
fuck
my family.
But the cops won't intervene then. They don't intervene until the shots are fired from inside the house, which means it was the black folks who shot at the white people.
Well, better do our jobs now.
Yeah, and now suddenly arrests are going to be made. So they went into the house and arrested all 11 Black occupants, including Dr. Sweet, his wife Gladys, their little daughter, his
How old
brother.
is she?
I think she was like 11, maybe 12. She was young.
Just
His
arrested
brothers,
11-year-old.
Henry and Otis, and several friends. Despite the fact that the house had been under attack, all of them were charged with first-degree murder.
All of them were
All of them.
charged? Give me a fucking break.
Nope. The police also did not arrest anyone from the white mob outside of the Sweet home. Instead, they placed all of the Black occupants in jail, assuming their guilt, including their
The
daughter.
11-year-old girl.
Mhm.
Oh my fucking God.
This arrest sparked national outrage. The NAACP quickly became involved, recognizing that the case had broader implications for the civil rights movement. They hired Clarence Darrow, one of the most famous defense attorneys in American history, to lead the defense in what would become one of the most significant civil rights trials of the 1920s. Darrow's involvement signaled that this case was about more than just one family. It was a battle over the fundamental right to self-defense and racial equality under the law. The first trial began in October of 1925 in the Recorder's Court of Detroit, with Judge Frank Murphy presiding. Murphy was known for his, again, through the lens of 1925. So I don't know if we would consider him this today, but at the time, he was known for his progressive views on civil rights, and his role in the case would later bolster his reputation as a champion of justice. I mean, frankly, at that time, the fact that a white judge would impartially take on a case like this would have been considered a very progressive view. So that's why I'm saying, like, through a 2025 lens,
Not give him too much credit, but anything at this time and in this
it was
situation
groundbreaking
is
at that time. Like, it was a big fucking deal, the way that he handled presiding over this case. The prosecution, led by Wayne County prosecutor Robert Toms, argued that the Sweet family and their friends had premeditated murder by bringing guns into the house, suggesting they intended to kill their white neighbors and that they carried this out when they killed Leon Briner. They claimed that...
I would like to just point out Robert Toms. Toms was the fictional last name that I gave to Wanda in my first story.
Not related.
Not related, but also really weird because I just pulled that out of my ass a few hours ago.
Listen,
Toms.
we share a brain sometimes.
Yeah.
I think there's a psychic connection between us.
There is a thread.
It is a thread. And it's
Or just
thick.
might just be a pube. I don't know.
We share a psychic pube.
We share a maroon fiber.
Our mons pubies are connected.
Let's braid.
Done. So the prosecution claimed that Briner, the guy who died, was simply an innocent bystander and that the Sweet household had overreacted by firing at the crowd.
Overreacted?
Yep.
Okay.
The state sought to portray the attack on the home as a minor disturbance rather than a life-threatening riot.
There were 1,000
People.
fucking white people outside
Yeah.
yelling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Darrow swiftly came in for the defense and proclaimed the case as a, quote, fight for self-defense and civil rights. His main arguments included self-defense being a basic right, so Darrow emphasized that the Sweets had every legal right to defend their home. He pointed out that the white mob outside was acting in a threatening manner, and very fucking recent history, the entire summer of violence, had shown that such mobs often escalated into deadly violence. So yes, people had been killed before. Black people had been killed from moving into their homes.
Yes.
So obviously they had a reason to want to protect
Be
themselves.
armed.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Racial terror in America. He placed the attack in the broader context of racial violence, reminding the jury that lynchings and mob attacks against Black families were common across the country at that time. He argued that Dr. Sweet had no choice but to prepare for the worst. And then he reiterated that the real crime was the fucking mob.
Yeah.
Darrow turned the tables on the prosecution by arguing that it was the white mob that had broken the law, not the people inside of the house. He questioned why the police had arrested only Black residents while ignoring the violent actions of the white crowd. Obviously, we know exactly why, but he's just laying it out clear as day in court. So it's on record. And like what we don't necessarily think about every time, you know, a big polarizing or whatever, really any case goes to trial, is that there's opportunity to set legal precedent
Absolutely.
within that courtroom. And Darrow fucking knows it because this is like his bread and butter. He does civil rights law. So yeah, I mean, he was definitely the right guy for the job. And he came in there like laying it all the fuck out so that this could have a lasting effect on the greater issue and not just, like he said, it's not just about one family and this one incident. So after several weeks of testimony, the jury deliberated but failed to reach a unanimous verdict. A mistrial was declared, and that outcome was seen as a partial victory for the defense, as the prosecution had hoped for a quick conviction, and they didn't get it. But this meant the defendants, and specifically the Sweet family, would be facing another trial. So they had made it clear that they intended to retry everybody, but that they wouldn't be trying all of them together. And so in a little switch up twist that the prosecution hoped would help them get a conviction, they decided not to retry all 11 defendants right away, but focus instead on Henry Sweet, Dr. Sweet's brother, who in the previous trial had admitted to firing a gun during the attack, making him the most vulnerable to a conviction.
So they were just going to drop the charges against everyone else?
Not necessarily, but they were going to start with a trial only for Henry.
Okay. So the children are still sitting in prison?
Yeah.
Great. Just wanted to clarify where the children
The family, the child, the wife. It's my understanding that they are still awaiting trial.
Okay.
For a second trial. They might have like gotten out for a little bit after the mistrial, and then I'm not sure what those details are, but yeah, they weren't by any means acquitted. This just meant that the process had to start basically all over again with additional evidence, like they had to build stronger cases. The second trial began in April 1926 with the same judge and the same legal teams, both for the defense and the prosecution. This time, Darrow strengthened his self-defense argument and delivered one of the most powerful speeches of his career. His closing argument spanned hours. I saw one report that his closing argument was 5 hours long.
Oh my God.
Driving home the rights of the Sweets and Henry Sweet in this specific case to defend himself. Quote, every human being who has a home has the right to protect it. If this is a land of liberty, if it is a land of justice, then tell me that this boy must go to prison for something he would have done if he were white. So emphasizing that if the Sweets were white, there would have been no trial at all.
There wouldn't have been a mob.
There wouldn't have been a mob in the first place. That's his next point. He drove home the violence of the white mob, who the defense had spent the last week describing to the jury as neighborly. So this is an excerpt from his closing argument.
That kind of is how I communicate with my back neighbor.
Well, that's different. She's the aggressor.
She really is.
So yeah, this is another excerpt from his closing argument. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. Blanche.
The fuck was that? Blanchard.
He is losing his goddamn mind over his fruit salad that I made him. He's so happy.
He's not even eating it.
No, but he like went downstairs to have more bites and then just jumped back up. I don't know. He's a lunatic. I love him. Okay, quote. Gentlemen, does anybody need to argue to you as to why those people were there? Was my friend Maul one of the defense or prosecution attorneys even intelligent when he told you that this was a neighborly crowd? I wonder if he knows you better than I do. I hope not. A neighborly crowd, a man who comes to your home and puts a razor across your windpipe, or who meets you in the street and puts a dagger through your heart, is as much a neighbor as these conspirators and rioters were who drove these black people from their home. Neighbors, eh? Visiting, bringing them greetings and good cheer. Our people were newcomers. They might have needed their larder stocked. It was a hot night. The crowd probably brought them ice cream and soda and possibly other cold drinks. Neighbors, gentlemen,
Cold
neighbors.
drinks.
They were neighbors.
A delicious Chinese meal.
What is the charge? Eating a meal? They were neighbors in the same sense that a nest of rattlesnakes are neighbors when you accidentally put your foot upon them. They are neighbors in the sense that a viper is a neighbor when you warm it on your bosom and it bites you. And every man who knows anything about this case knows it. You know what the purpose was. So he's just driving home that like, bitch, you know why the fuck these people were there.
Yeah.
And they were not invited and they were not there to drop off ice cream and soda.
No.
Like, don't insult
play
all of
that
our intelligence by listening to the prosecution's neighborly, quote unquote, version of events. That's fucking bullshit.
It wasn't a sig heil.
Right. He was throwing his heart out to the crowd. Like, y'all, believe your eyes.
Yeah.
So I did link the full closing argument in my sources if anyone has the stamina to read through it. I read a bunch of it. It's quite compelling. And, you know, the defense was clearly compelling as the jury voted to acquit Henry Sweet, agreeing that he had acted in self-defense.
So that pretty much cleared everyone else.
Yep. Following his acquittal, the prosecution dropped all remaining charges against the other defendants, including Dr. Ossian Sweet and his wife and child. And so while legally victorious, the case took an unimaginable physical, emotional, and financial toll on the Sweet family. This is really fucking sad. So just, you know, you want there to be a happy ending for this family, but after what they've endured, it's like, how?
Yeah.
How could there be? The damage was already done, you know? So Dr. Sweet's wife, Gladys, and their daughter, Iva, both contracted tuberculosis while they were in jail. And they later both died from the disease.
Oh my God. Because they were in prison
because
for
they
no
were in prison.
fucking reason.
Yep. So that is, in my view, unquestionably state-sanctioned death. It's essentially execution. They were imprisoned unfairly, not given proper care, and they died as a result. The legal fees and stress bankrupted Dr. Sweet, forcing him to sell the Garland Avenue home. Despite his acquittal, Henry Sweet struggled to find work and largely faded from public life. And Dr. Ossian Sweet continued practicing medicine as long as he could, but never fully recovered from the trauma of this event. And in 1960, he died by suicide.
Oh my God, the whole family just fell apart.
Yep. Yeah, they were destroyed.
And they did all end up dying.
Mm-hmm. I feel like, again, Terry Schiavo, I feel like Schiavo, sorry. We've been having conversations lately about cases that become like world changing and policy changing, and how like the martyred victims in these cases never asked for or consented to this. How they were just people who wanted to live their fucking lives and be left the fuck alone. And that is
Rock Hudson.
Yeah, that's certainly what the Sweet family wanted. And what happened to them is horrifying. And, you know, if there's anything you can take from that, it's that their legacy shaped the Fair Housing Act of 1968, which is a law that is under threat under the current administration, making this case as relevant today as it was then. So the Fair Housing Act, for anyone who doesn't know, was signed into law on April 11th, 1968, and was one of the most significant civil rights laws in American history. It aimed to combat housing discrimination and ensure that all Americans, regardless of race, religion, or national origin, had the right to buy, rent, and live in housing free from discrimination. The Sweet case contributed to the ongoing fight for fair housing and the eventual signing of the FHA into law because it highlighted the violence used to enforce segregation, established legal defenses and precedent for Black homeowners, motivated civil rights organizations, and inspired housing desegregation efforts. Dr. Ossian Sweet's case was an early battle in a long and continuing war for racial equity in America, and while he and his family suffered unimaginably, his courage laid the groundwork for future civil rights victories. And the Sweet home is now a protected historical landmark in Detroit. And there's a photo of it that I included on the drive. It's a beautiful little house. And
it kind of looks like my house.
It really does. I mean, it's just
it's just a simple suburban looking house.
Anyway, so that's my case.
Great.
I saw that and I was like, I can't believe we weren't taught about this, but of course I can believe we weren't taught about this.
Yeah, I don't remember that from school, but what was that? It's like a Amazon Prime TV show about a Black family who moves into a white neighborhood, and it's like supernatural mixed with the horrific racism of like the 50s. That's what I was picturing the whole time, and I think I did Google the Dr. Sweet and kind of read about it, but I didn't know about the trial itself.
Yeah.
Or that his whole family died.
It's really fucking horrifying.
Yeah.
So we
have been talking a lot about landmark fucking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it just feels very topical to revisit
Sure is.
history so that we are not doomed to repeat it over and fucking over again, which is why this administration doesn't want us learning. That's why they're banning books. They're trying to do away with Black History Month, DEI. All of these things are to keep us stupid and complacent so that, you know, fascism can fucking thrive. So let's not comply with that.
Yeah. Especially not in advance.
No, don't comply in advance or in real time.
Yeah.
Get your Lathy out and slap the cops.
Slap. Well,
Fucking
I'm not gonna say
slap
the cops, but
the cops.
definitely carry a stick around.
Carry your stick. Do what you got to do.
I'm not trying to minimize like a traditional Indian weapon.
No. I'm saying fucking do it. I'm all
Do
about
it.
it. With a full throat. Get him.
Fucking get him.
Got him.
Got him. Well, thank you, Grace.
Yes,
for
Grace.
this wonderful topic.
You sent us down some rabbit holes and it was fascinating
Very.
and educational.
And thank you for listening to our show. Just a reminder that if you would like to access this episode ad-free, you can head on over to our Uncorked page.
Yes.
Check that out.
Get
Got
on
ad-free
Uncorked.
episodes.
There's so much bonus content on there too.
Like my spooky little bitch with Grace.
Oh, I can't wait.
Okay, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.